there's always a duality to everything. With good comes bad, with bad comes good. There's a silver lining in the darkest clouds. And, that's a cliche, but the reality is there's no perfect world. There is just no perfect world. The rich people have their issues, and the poor people have their great days. That's the reality of life. Everybody looks at the NFL right now, and they love that there's offense. And all the rule changes over the last several years in the NFL have been offense, offense, offense. And fantasy football players love that, and TV networks love that, and everybody loves all this offense. And I understand it. So do I. I've always made the comment that nobody loves defense. Nobody loves a great defense except their team's great defense. But nobody wants to watch 6-3. Remember when LSU, Alabama a few years ago were easily the two best teams in the country? They played in the regular season. It was 6-3. And then they got a rematch for the national championship, and people went nuts. Well, they were clearly the two best teams in the country. When Ohio State and Michigan 4 years earlier had played, it was 42-40, and there was a potential rematch for the national championship. People were overjoyed. And both those teams went to a bowl game and got hosed and smoked. They weren't the two best teams in the country. We all like offense, but here's the downside to offense. The NFL has made the league so much about offense and so much about quarterbacks that a well-quarterback team separates now much faster from a poorly quarterback team than ever. You could fake it for a long time in this league if you didn't have Joe Montana. You could build around a running game and a good defense, and you could be really competitive. You can't anymore. You can't compete with Alex Smith. And it's every season, it is more obvious. This morning I got up and I looked at the standings in the National Football League, and I could make an argument, and I feel strongly about this, that of the 8 divisions, 7 of them, and the quarterbacks are Brady, Eli, Peyton, Cam, Luck, Carson Palmer, Aaron Rodgers. Those are A quarterbacks. Andy Dalton's a B with really good players. But I could argue right now, the teams leading their division, they're going to win their division. Hell, like 6 are undefeated. New England, Cincinnati, Indianapolis, Denver, Green Bay, Carolina, Arizona. You can argue each of those teams has the best quarterback. In most cases, it's obvious in their division. Now, the NFC East is up for grabs. Giants, Cowboys, Redskins, Eagles, that one's totally up for grabs. It really is. I don't love any of those teams. Washington's better than I thought, and without Tony Romo, Dallas is hard to figure out. But if you look at the top 2 teams in most of these divisions, anybody going to argue Patriots, Jets are the best 2 teams in the AFC East? Bengals, Steelers, AFC North? Broncos, right now, I'm sorry, but San Diego and Kansas City are not good football teams, and the Raiders are pretty interesting. Packers, Minnesota, Carolina, Atlanta, Arizona, St. Louis, Seattle. The downside to having quarterbacks dominate the league is you separate now so fast from the bad teams. There's only like one team with a really good quarterback struggling, and a lot of you don't think he's that great, Joe Flacco. That's about the only team in this league that has a guy that can get you to a Super Bowl that's really a bad team. And even their losses have been really, really close. They've lost almost every game by 4 or less. But we all love the offense. We love it for fantasy. We love it for television. We love it for the ratings. But if you don't have a quarterback in this league, I counted this morning, 11 teams look like they're out of it. Folks, we're like 37 to 40% through the league. We're not even at the halfway point. We're 6 games in, and a third of the league is mostly out of it. Because it's not like your quarterback being bad and Green Bay having a good one is going to change. So as everybody loves all this offense in the NFL, there is the unintentional consequence. The league is getting more blowouts, and it is very easy to tell 10, 11 teams in this league, you're done. San Francisco's done. And Tampa Bay's done. Detroit's done. I mean, Tennessee and Jacksonville. Kansas City. I'm sorry, Buffalo. It's not working. It's done. I don't know. I like the new offense. I do. And I think fantasy football fans probably love that stuff. And if you have a good quarterback in your league, it's fantastic. We know the fantasy, 60 million Americans are playing fantasy sports. We know it's good. But look around the standings this morning if you think I'm wrong. Try to argue your way out of the division leader outside the NFC East. They all got top quarterbacks. And the sport now pampers them, babies them. You can't touch them. You can't get to them. And now the league is increasingly a 3-step drop league. You can't get to Brady. You cannot get to Tom Brady right now. Hike, boom, ball out. Can't touch him. How many 5-step drops a game does he have? 12? Maybe?